Welcome to Weapons Wednesday, the only show on the internet that dares me to chop my fingers off on a weekly basis. Today we have a bunch of really cool weapons, one of which can be configured in basically 3 different ways for 3 different types of weapons. So if that sounds interesting to you, consider dropping a like on this video and subscribing to the channel because that would be awesome. Before we get started, I just want to ask you guys one little thing, and that is, out of all of these weapons, which one would you use in the apocalypse and which one would you carry on your person as just, your everyday carry? I would love to hear your answers and read them down in the comments. Now I'm going to start off by saying to make sure to check your local laws because the first weapon is going to be one of the most infamous weapons that are banned in various areas and countries and states. So definitely check your local laws because we're starting with the Stealth Combat Grenade Knuckles. That is quite the long name, but this is a really cool tool. This solid metal knuckle duster that is over 11.5 ounces comes with some heft and comes in a really cool design that looks like a grenade. Let's see if I can get it in the light here. Looks like a grenade with the pin attached, which gives this a very unique look that I've never seen in a set of knuckle dusters before. And it's gonna be big enough to fit pretty much anybody's hand with 4 3/4 inch tall and about 3 inches wide. Now, for those of you that don't know, knuckle dusters are incredibly dangerous. All kinds of knuckle dusters, whether they're brass knuckles or you're made of steel or whatever. The reason they're so dangerous is because of how they transfer the force into your punch. Instead of just punching with the force of your knuckles in the area that is your knuckles, you're taking all that force, especially if you punch correctly, all that force from your hips into your body, into your punch, but only going into this metal line here. And depending on how you hit it, if you strike down even a smaller area, this amplifies the force and can dent skulls or can actually crack skulls if used incorrectly, which is why they're illegal. Many people would use them and actually not realize that they were, unaliving other people by accident. They would use them in self-defense and the person that attacked them would be gone. And so with the combination of both of that and the fact that they were very often seen as mafia weapons, they became illegal in a lot of places. Now recently the laws have relatively laxed in a lot of areas, like in Texas. I can have pretty much whatever I want, but I only say that to make sure that you actually do check your area to not only see if you can use these for, just having them, but also use them for self-defense specifically, because some areas have specific laws where you can own them, but they have to be made out of a certain material, or that you can own them, but you can't use them for self-defense or things of that nature. So just be aware, we want to do things legally, especially considering how many government officials are probably watching me right now. You definitely want to make sure you're on the right side of the law. I feel like my FBI agent's named Jeff. Hi, Jeff. But it's time to let Jeff's blood pressure lower just a little bit because we're going into the next tactical tool, which it is a weapon. Anything is a weapon if you use it as a weapon. But this is more of a tool that can be used as a great self-defense piece for those of us that don't necessarily want to just end an opponent like with, the last weapon. This is going to be a tactical pin flashlight with several different uses. One, the fact that it's a 6-inch piece of metal is really, really useful. Many of you have seen Kubatons in various areas in various different ways. My favorite thing about this is that it supplies the use and ability that a Kubaton would apply and would give you. But it also makes it legally a lot better because it's a pin. It's an actual working pin with, I believe, black ink. Yes, black ink. And just to prove that it really is a pin, you can actually unscrew it and exchange the cartridges so that once you use one, you don't have to throw away the whole pin. You can buy a new cartridge, screw it in, and you are good to go for your, business pin uses. And because of its aluminum construction, it only weighs about 1.5 ounces, meaning it doesn't weigh awkwardly heavy and feel like it shouldn't be what it is, right? It doesn't feel out of place. But it also provides an extra function in its flashlight. You're able to use it to wave down help, to signal for help, or just look for the things you lost under your desk. It has several different uses, which I think makes it even better, because the most important thing after a self-defense encounter is getting help and getting the help that you need. So being able to wave someone down with the flashlight is excellent. So, and for those of us that carry our pins in our shirt pockets versus just in our normal pants or in a briefcase or whatever, the clip actually pops right off super easily, making it a really, really sleek design if you choose to take it off. And if you choose not to, that's okay too. It just pops right back on just like so, ready to use for whatever purpose you have for it. And for me personally, as someone who has been a martial arts instructor and self-defense instructor for several years, the fact that this is in fact a pin is really, really nice for the legal standpoint in most areas and most locations. But as always, check your local laws to make sure something like this is not gonna be breaking any of those laws. Because let me tell you that the next guy on this list will be breaking plenty of laws in plenty of areas without you having to worry about that pin. We have the Midnight Assassin Throwing Axe, and as someone who is super excited about the new Assassin's Creed game taking place in Japan, playing as literally an assassin and a ninja, I'm loving this thing. This is one of my favorite throwing axes that I've ever received. It's about 10 inches long and about 5 inches wide and weighs in at about 8.2 ounces. But that is not why this is really cool. The reason I think this is really cool is because of this hole right here and the fact that it is wrapped in paracord. Now, for those of you that don't have a ton of experience, you might not realize what this means, but it means that you could wrap it using those paracord going through that hole, and you can swing it like a bladed meteor hammer and use it as either a grapple hook or just to spin around and chop things as you come through. And let me tell you, that thought is so cool. I love that thought so much. And that stainless steel will hold up whenever you hit something and pull back. That steel will not bend or break or anything like that. It will stay strong, allowing you to use it at range and pull back like your Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. And yes, just like pretty much every other weapon that comes from Karate Mart, it comes out the box decently sharp. Man, that sound. Oh, I love this weapon. Now, obviously, you can always sharpen it more, but it does come out the box sharp and ready to cut into things. So if you're just wanting to go as soon as it gets to your door, you can. One more time. Oh, beautiful sound. Lastly, we have the Hidden Twisted Blade baton. And here's the thing. It comes in a baton form, obviously, with a window breaker on the back end, but then you can unscrew it. Should you unscrew the window breaker, it becomes a knife and can screw back in so that you now have a full baton with a knife on one end, because why not? Able to use it to cut things or stab or just things like that, right? Which is great. But that's again not where it ends. Because if you unscrew the other end, it becomes one of the most dangerous knives ever created. The spiral tri-blade knife. The spiral and tri-blades are notoriously dangerous because when a puncture wound is dealt to a opponent, it leaves a wound that not only leaves a difficult cut in order to stitch up, but also carves into our opponent, twisting and carving up, spiraling into the flesh, which makes it nearly impossible to stitch back up, even if you were in a hospital. So using this weapon in a offensive manner will end up sending people to Jesus. But that's not all. You can combine these in different ways for different usages. Let's say you wanted to have a double-sided weapon, having the knife and the spike on one end and using this as just your pole to hit people with. That's doable. Or you could put the knife on the pipe and not only have a cutting implement, but a stabbing implement that you can use in conjunction with each other. This thing is incredibly cool, and let me tell you, I absolutely love it. Now, let me tell you, as far as the stats go, its overall length is going to be 26 inches within its longest form, which is with the spiral blade attached. with the spiral twisted blade being 9 inches long and the hidden blade being 3.5. The whole thing is approximately 1 inch in diameter, with it getting a little bit wider in certain areas just because of the unique design of the weapon. And the total weight of this steel construction is going to come in at about 1 pound and 11 ounces, which makes it a nice hefty weight, but not overly cumbersome, which is super nice. Let me tell you, this thing is super cool, and oh man. If you're looking for this guy, all the links are down in the comments or down in the description of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and Jeff, if you're watching, just remember I'm in Texas. This is okay. But if you want to see more about the things that I do and the videos that I do, definitely check out my Modern Ninja channels on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or really everywhere. So if you want to see more of me, you can check me out in those ways. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. Don't forget to leave me a comment down below letting me know which weapon is going to be your favorite. And until next time, I'll see you Weapons Wednesday.